What is the purpose of test technique? Test techniques are primarily used for two purposes: to help identify defects and to reduce the number of test cases. What is equivalence partitioning? Equivalence partitioning is a software testing technique that divides the input data of a software unit into partitions of equivalent data from which test cases can be derived. Normally, test cases are designed to cover each partition at least once. The equivalence partitions are usually derived from the requirement specification for input attributes that influence the processing of the test object. The technique tries to define test cases that uncover classes of errors, thereby reducing the total number of test cases that must be developed. An advantage of this approach, equivalence partitioning, is reduction in time required for testing a software due to lesser number of test cases. Let's move on to the next question. What is boundary value analysis? Boundary value analysis is used to evaluate the behavior of the system at the boundaries of the allowed data rather than finding those exist in the center of input domain. What is state transition testing? State transition testing, in which outputs are triggered by changes to the input condition or changes to the state of the system. In simple words, you can put it as tests are designed to validate allowed and disallowed states and transitions from one state to another by various input data. What is entry criteria? Entry criteria is the minimum eligibility or the minimum set of conditions that should be met in order to start the testing process. What is exit criteria? Exit criteria is the minimum eligibility or the set of conditions that should be met in order to close a particular project phase. Now, entry and exit criteria are documented and signed off during the test planning phase and are included in the relevant test plans. What is coverage in software testing? Coverage is a measurement used in software testing to describe the degree to which the source code is tested. What are the different types of coverage techniques? There are three basic types of coverage techniques. Statement coverage. The coverage ensures that each line of source code has been executed and tested. Decision coverage. In decision coverage ensures that every decision, example, true and false in the source code has been executed and tested. Path coverage. In this coverage, it is ensured that every possible route through a given part of code is executed and tested. What is CMMI? Now, I'm going to go over some of the definitions, and if it's a personal interview or phone interview, there are less chances that you will be asked the definitions, but they can ask you. There are 5% chances that they can ask you some of the definitions. But in some companies, they do take written interviews or written test. So during the written test, there are more chances that they would ask you the definitions. So what is CMMI? The Capability Maturity Model Integration. CMMI again is a Capability Maturity Model Integration. Is a capability improvement model that can be adapted to solve any performance issues at any level of the organization in any industry. What is ISO in software testing? Software testing is an internationally agreed set of standards for software testing that can be used within any software development lifecycle or organization. By implementing these standards, you will be adopting the only international recognized and agreed standard for software testing, which will provide your organization with a high-quality approach to testing that can be communicated throughout the world. What is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a set of techniques and tools for process improvement. Six Sigma seeks to improve the quality of the output of a process by identifying and removing the causes of defects. It uses a set of quality management methods and creates a special infrastructure of people within the organization who are expert in these methods. Each Six Sigma project carried out within an organization follows a defined sequence of steps and has a specific value targets. For example, reduce process cycle time, reduce cost, increase customer satisfaction, and increase profit. What are the types of reviews? Walkthrough, technical review, and inspection. What is test bed? The test execution environment configured for testing. Testbed consists of specific hardware, software, operating system, network configurations, the product under test, other system software, and application software. Explain QMS, Quality Management System. It is a set of policies, processes, and procedures required for planning and execution in the production and development and service in the core business area of an organization and the areas that can impact the organization's ability to meet customer requirements. Let's move on to the next screen. What is software versioning? Software versioning is a process of assigning either unique version names or unique version numbers to unique states of computer software. Within a given version number category is major and minor. The numbers are generally assigned in increasing order. For example, if you have version 4.2, the new version will be 4.3. So that way you can identify which is the older version and which is the newer version. What are typical testing you will give importance while testing web application? When you're testing web application, you will consider link testing, security and authentication, performance testing, that is response time, scalability, load testing, stress testing, usability, functionality, user interface, session issues, operating system compatibility, browser compatibility, forward, it is you can test also forward and backward compatibility, navigation issues. What is cross-browser testing? As the name itself tells you, cross-browser means you're doing testing with browsers. Test your website or application in multiple browsers, making sure that it works consistently and as intended without any dependencies or compromise in the quality. The application can be web application or mobile application. What is internationalization? Internationalization is a process of designing a software application so that it can be adapted to various languages and regions without any changes. It's a process of, in the simple words you can put it, is a process of designing and developing a product or a content such that it enables localization for any given culture, region, or language. What would you consider when testing internationalization of a product? Content localization, feature-based local culture awareness, user interface, file transfers, rendering. What is localization testing? Localization is a process of adapting internationalized product, application, or software for a specific range or language by adding local specific components. Which important areas of the software are customized when localizing an application? Date and time formats, because international, every country, like if you're doing for United Kingdom, it's a different date format. If you're doing for United States, the software will have different time format. If you're doing for Asian countries, it's a different date format. And then the currency use, keyboard usage, sorting, aligning of data, color schemes, symbols, icons, because some symbols may represent something else in different region, whereas some symbols may have a completely different meaning. Text and graphics, which is in a given culture, because some of the text and graphics may be viewed as very sensitive or it can be misinterpreted, and diverse legal requirements. Now, when you're answering your software testers interview, they will ask you personal questions, like tell us something about yourself. So when you're answering this question, tell us something about yourself, you should take this opportunity to tell positive things about you. Tell something about personality, that you work in a team and you like to work with others, and then move to technical skills, that how quickly you can learn new technical grasp any new technical knowledge. So take this opportunity when answering this question to tell positive things about yourself. What did you learn from your previous companies? Now, one thing I have noticed, that there are some candidates who try to complain about the previous companies. Never complain about your previous managers, even if you didn't like them, even if you didn't like the companies. Never complain about your previous managers or previous job when you're answering an interview, because that leaves a bad impression that you don't get well with people and you have personality issues. So always talk positive about your previous companies. What did you learn? You can give the technical aspects that you have. This is if suppose the previous company was using one of the company was using SQL Server database and Oracle, then you can say in ABC company, I have learned about Oracle database, and different. My last company, I have worked about SQL Server. So I learned database testing with reference to SQL Server, or different softwares which may be you have used, or different automation tool. Then you must have learned about working in the team. If you have worked in the agile environment, then you can just talk about it. What did you learn in your previous companies? What are your strengths? They can be your personal strength and the technical strength, like you're good in database testing or you're good in web application testing. Your personal strengths example can be you are a quick learner, you can train others, or you work in the team very well. So you can note down your strength before going for an interview. Just write down on a piece of paper what are your strengths, and then it will be easier for you to answer that question. And you can give some examples. Don't make the answer very lengthy, but you can say the strengths and then support it with the example what you have done, like you have helped your co-workers, like you have done your job and then even helped your co-workers, something like that. Why did you choose software testing as your career choice? You can say it's a passion, reason for passion. And one more thing, when you're answering software testing interview question, like general interview, that software testing is a backbone of the software industry. So try to make it a point that how important software testing is, and that is how it makes you feel that you're doing something important in your career. Then why you would like to work for our company. Before you go for an interview, make sure you do a research about the company, and then you can just frame your answer accordingly. If you're going for an interview in a small company, then you can say, as the company is growing, I would like to grow. Or if you are going for a company in healthcare industry, then you can say that you can say a couple of positive points, and one of the point is you can say healthcare industry is helping people to be healthy, so I want to touch the people. by helping them, by doing the software testing. In some way you're going to help people. Then you can do research about the company, how the company has grown, and just talk positive about the company where you would like to work for. So these are some of the questions. I've given examples, but you need to write your own points, your own strengths, and then prepare for the interview. So I hope you find this video tutorial helpful. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe Lakshmi Academy on YouTube for more videos.